Okay, Tom, I got over here as fast as I could. What's up?
Sweet Lou, how are you?
How's it going?
I'm inspired.
Oh, nice.
We got foodies coming over tonight.
Okay.
And I think that sometimes mandates the type of food we have to serve.
Sure.
So I thought no better chef to emulate, Thomas Keller of the French Laundry. If you're going to emulate somebody, emulate the best. They talk about in this book about how Thomas Keller, a series of small, impeccable, highly refined, intensely focused dishes.
Okay.
And I thought we could reproduce that tonight for our meal for the foodies, Bonnie and Steve.
Nice.
What do you think about that?
I think that's great. Kicking it up a notch.
Kicking it up. We're going sky high.
Hey, if we're going to kick it up a notch, we got to go to a top-notch place here in Villa Park.
Yeah.
Mike's Meat Market.
Mike's Meat Market.
That's the way to go.
Lou and I have lived here all our lives, and if you're a Villa Parkian, you know about Mike's Meat Market. We've been wanting to go there forever. Dave Casey's a very good friend of mine. I think maybe we could arrange a field trip and get some good stuff.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Welcome to Tom's Table.
Welcome to Tom's Table. Welcome to Tom's Table. Thanks for joining us again. You've been with us for 3 or 4 times now, and we hope you've learned something. Tonight, to quote a very famous chef, we're going to kick it up a notch. We've kind of taken it easy with our menus so far, giving the home cook a good chance to grasp what we're doing. Tonight is a different story. Tonight, we've got some foodies, good friends of ours from our place of worship at our church, Bonnie and Steve Flanagan, and they're foodies. And one of my greatest challenges, I feel, is to impress a foodie. So we're going on quite a menu tonight. So here's what we're going to serve. We're going to start with a salad of haricot vert, very thin French green beans, in a sherry cream sauce, and we're going to serve that over a tomato crouton with tomatoes that have been roasted for 3 hours, just concentrating their flavor. I mean, you're going to bite into this tomato concasse, and you're just going to say tomato. So we're going to start with that. Actually, it's a recipe from Thomas Keller's French Laundry restaurant in San Francisco. So it's out of his cookbook, The French Laundry. Actually, we did this, I was in charge of this salad when we went to Austria for a cooking competition, and we're gonna duplicate it tonight. And we're gonna follow that with a main course of a pork paupillette. A paupillette is a thin pounded out scallop of meat. We're using pork again from like our Wiener Schnitzel episode. We're taking that thin scallop of pork and we're going to wrap it with a savory gorgonzola mousse that we're going to make with some ground pork and a bunch of seasonings. We'll show you that. We're going to wrap that scallop of pork in this mousse, and then we're going to roast it. And we're going to serve that with the gorgonzola cheese. A good accompaniment with that is port wine. So we're going to make a port wine sauce to accompany that paupillette. And along with that, a starch if you will, but it's going to be a starch. It's called a rutabaga. It's a turnip, also called a swede or a neep. If you had 2 of them, would they be called neeples? I don't know. So neeps, swedes, turnips, rutabagas. You chop them. We're going to cook them with russet potatoes, cream and butter, salt and pepper. It's a very famous Scottish dish. They call it clapshot. in Scotland, and not necessarily just a Scottish, just very very European. You don't see Americans don't utilize rutabagas as much as the Europeans do, and personally, we've always eaten rutabagas. Ever since I was a little kid, my mom always cooked rutabagas, and me and Lou were talking before the show even started how it's a tradition at his house once a year that they serve rutabagas. So if you don't know about them, we're going to show you how to cook them, and we're going to show you how to make them taste good. So we're going to finish that. We're going to finish our meal tonight with a triple berry crisp. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look just wonderful. You got that? Just blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and we're going to make a crisp out of that. Also, you could call it a grunt or a slump or a fool. I'll go with the grunt because it seems like every time I try to get up, I grunt these days. So a triple berry grunt, if you will, for dessert. And we're going to top that with some whipped cream. So we got a full night of cooking ahead of us. We got some foodies coming over to taste our food. So we're kind of under a microscope here. And we want to do well. So you ready? I am. We should probably get our dessert done first because that's got to bake for 45 minutes. And actually, we're going to serve that warm anyway, so the ice cream melts on there, and it's just a really nice dish. So let's cook. All right, berries. How can you not just love that? I mean, that's freshness right there. So what we're going to do with this, this is going to be our base. And then we're going to make like a crust that goes on top of it, and it basically bakes on top. And 45 minutes, it gets all nice together, and it'll be delicious, I guarantee you. So, all right, we've got our berries in a large bowl, and we're going to add quarter cup of sugar, okay? Over the whole thing, quarter cup of sugar. Tablespoon cornstarch. Tablespoon of cornstarch. All right? It's actually going to be our thickener. And you know our standard rule about cornstarch is that you have to mix cornstarch with a cool liquid or it will clump on you. Okay? So, we're just going to coat our berries with the sugar and the cornstarch. Start. Okay? Take a lemon into our nifty little squeezer, little lemon juice. Okay? Got a seed in there. Can't have that. Half a cup water. Half a teaspoon almond extract. All right? Okay. That's going to be our base for our grunt. Get that all happy in there. Hey, found that other seed. Ha ha! Ha ha! All right. Smells really nice right there. Almond extract gives it a nice another layer. Half a cup of butter, all right? Half a cup of butter. Quick oats, not instant, 1 cup, okay? 1 cup brown sugar, packet. Put it in there. Okay. 1/3 of a cup flour, all right? Half teaspoon cinnamon. That's a quarter, so I need 2 of those. Okay. Pastry blender. Combine all this. We're looking for a nice little, we're looking for like little pebbles. where that butter is going to get all chopped up in there. I usually make these in the fall for our camping trip. We usually go camping in the fall, and I usually bring these. Actually travel and last very well. So you'll get this will be good for about 2 or 3, 4 days, and I always bring it with us on our fall camping trips. A nice pan, 8x8. Glass pan usually works very nice. Spray it. Spray it. Don't want nothing sticking in there. Berries, okay. Let's go down with them. Oh, that's our base. That's going to be the top. Or the bottom. Ooh, look at it, berry fell right in there. All right, so take that. We've got our crumble here. It's just going to go right on top. Okay? All over. Nice and loose. We're ready for the oven. 45 minutes. That's going to be one wonderful dessert, okay? So we're going to put this in the oven and we'll go to round 2 of our gourmet evening, okay? Okay, so it's the dawn of a new day. We're at Mike's Meat Market in Villa Park, and good friend Dave Casey, thanks for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We're here before Mike's opens. Mike's has been a fixture in Villa Park for, oh my gosh, how many years, 69?
This is 69, yeah.
1969. I didn't have gray hair back in those days. And
I had more hair.
Yeah. I've been coming here forever. Dave's father started the business in 1969, and you've been working there. You started working there how old?
13.
You were 13 years old. Child labor laws?
No, not when they're your own children.
Dave comes from a family of 8, so his dad had quite a family to feed, and I guess this was the thing to do, is to open a meat market. Did it actually start as a meat market?
Yeah. Well, my father was always in the meat business, so when he decided to get into business for himself, I kind of think of it as not so much as a passion, but a necessity. When you got that many mouths to feed.
Yeah, right.
You gotta have a good source. So.
And you started on Park Avenue over there in Villa Park. Has this location, and you moved here. When did you move here?
We moved here in 2006.
2006. Has it improved your business?
Absolutely. When we were over on Park Boulevard, as you know, it was a very small store, and we had outgrown that.
Right.
So it was kind of tough to try and expand. There was no room to do that. We had a viable business on either side of us. So I agonized over the fact that we need to do something.
Right.
It was tough to leave that old spot, for a couple of reasons. Nostalgic. I grew up in the store.
Absolutely.
And it was a great spot, just right there across from the Prairie Path. We had ample parking, all that. But it was time.
Yeah.
So I came over here and sat in the parking lot several days, just watching, gauging the traffic flow. I'm surprised nobody ever called the cops. There's a creep
There's a man out
in the
there.
parking lot.
Let's talk about your volume. What comes in and out of here in a day? Do you get deliveries every day?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day, but Sunday.
Okay.
So
we got to take Sundays off. Take the Sabbath off.
But we are open 10 to 4, might I?
Oh, might I add.
A shameless promotion here. So, that makes it easier for us for inventory control,
Yep.
things like that. Like one of the outfits that we purchase our seafood from, actually there's 2 of them, that they both deal with restaurants. So it's great for us because then we can get our seafood in first thing in the morning because these guys are delivering later in the day to the restaurant.
Right.
So that works out really good for us. Same poultry's delivered daily, and then everything else, whether it's beef or pork, things like that. Anything for the deli that we don't make, we can get that every day.
Let's talk about popularity of meats. Is there any cut that just flies out of here? Or it's pretty much everything?
Pretty much everything. You know, and a lot of it's also based on the season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A lot of steaks this time of year, and we have, you know, the USDA choice. So strip steaks, ribeyes.
And holidays,
of course.
crown roast of pork, and then your
Beef tenderloin, prime rib, all that. Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
You know, the nice thing about the holidays, you know, the meal always seems to be the focal point.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
So, you know, it's like us in the liquor store.
Yeah.
And that's usually like the last stop. It's either the liquor store or us, you know, which is great.
Yeah.
So every holiday, you know, we're going to be busy. So even if it's like the summertime holidays and it's barbecue season, things like that, Mother's Day, Father's Day, you know, well, you mentioned Thanksgiving because we saw a lot of fresh turkeys.
Yeah, there you go. That's
and then
very big here.
Christmas too. So it's vacations are, you know, never planned around a holiday.
Yeah, right. Oh no, absolutely not. Okay, before we get too involved, let's start making our sauce, our potatoes and our rutabagas. Rutabagas, as hard as they are, they're probably going to take about 40 minutes to cook. So we're going to get those started. We're going to let those cook for about 10 minutes. We're going to add our potatoes. Another half hour. We're going to add our cream, salt, and pepper. Mash them together. Then those are good. In the meantime, we've got to make our port wine sauce. And we're still going to use our basic. It's not going to cook for hours like a regular sauce normally would. So mirepoix. Don't I always talk about mirepoix? 50% onion, 25% celery, 25% carrot. That's how we start every stock, every sauce, you name it. So mirepoix, in with a little butter. Okay, we'll let that work in there for 10 or 15 minutes till the vegetables start to soften. The key, what we're using the mirepoix for is flavor. We're going to extract every little bit of flavor out of each little piece of onion, celery, and carrot. So, excuse me. We're going to get that going right away. I just burnt myself. So, rutabaga. Chopped up nice small chunks. We're going to get that on the boil. A little extra water. Put them in a little bit of salt. Okay. Salt water. And we're going to let those get going. We want those to cook 10 or 15 minutes before we add the potatoes, like I said. So we're going to let this go about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Let's go back over and we're going to start our mousse for our pork paupiettes. Ground pork, prosciutto. This is a Cucina Andolina Gorgonzola cheese. Garlic, shallots, and chives. And parsley, and heavy whipping cream. That's our mousse. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this prosciutto. And I'll tell you what, when you taste this prosciutto, pulse it around. We'll get it nice and fine. This is going to blend so well in there. It's going to have a very prominent flavor. Our ground pork. Okay, put that in there. Get that mixing up with the prosciutto. Our gorgonzola. Next. Okay. This is going to be really good. Okay. Mix that up. Some heavy cream. Okay, we had to mix this in 2 batches. It was just too much. My food processor was getting a little clogged. So we got half in there. Here's the other half of the pork and the cream and the prosciutto. 2 tablespoons of shallots, 2 tablespoons of garlic, 2 tablespoons of chives. Parsley, chopped parsley. Okay? A little bit. Okay. Let's blend the rest of it all up. More cream. It's going to be really nice and creamy inside the pork paupette. Okay? Salt and pepper. Kosher salt. Some fresh cracked black. Okay? Mix it back up. A little mix. All right. Our mousse is ready.
Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
The newest, most exciting sound in town. It's a General Electric blender that's going around. Completely new from base to lid. Take it apart, see what they did. The non-skid base is the lowest you'll ever see.
The decanter has a 36-ounce blending capacity.
The non-spill lid is really smart. For blending convenience, it comes apart. Add additional ingredients, if you will. Look, no splash, see no spill. Put them all together and you know it's true. The General Electric blender is best for you. If you want to know another reason why,
It's only 10 1/2 inches high.
stores easily on the counter or on a shelf. There's 1,000 things you can make yourself.
Make party spreads.
Great cabbage heads. Blend the meatloaf for a family of 8. Make ice cold drinks you'll appreciate. Now's the time for you to buy the General Electric blender.
Did he say only 10 1/2 inches high?
Okay, our mirepoix is ready for the next step. We're going to add tablespoon of tomato paste, okay? Get that in there. Need an acid in there. A couple bay leaves, okay? And then our beef stock. Some port wine. Port wine, usually a dessert wine, will marry very well with the gorgonzola. Little red wine, okay? It's funny now that port wine is kind of a sweet wine, and then we're going to finish this sauce with a currant jelly. A currant is a fruit that it's a little tart berry. You don't see them very often. Very European currants. They're red currants, black currants, and white currants. And we've got a red currant jelly that we're going to finish our port wine sauce up with. So that was our buzzer for our grunt, and let's see how that's going. Oh, that's coming out nice, huh? Wow, getting real nice. Got about 5 to 10 minutes more on that. So, our rutabagas have been cooking for about 10 minutes. We're going to add our potatoes, okay? We're going to let those go. Add a little kosher salt. We'll give those about a half hour of cooking. Okay? Then we're just going to mash them all together, and that's going to be our clap shot, if you will. Maybe a little more stock to this here, and we'll let that cook a while. All right? Let those go. And now I guess we could come back and we'll start filling our paupettes with our gorgonzola mousse, and then we're going to get those ready for the oven, and let's take about half hour, and we'll have a nice meal. All right, let's talk about from the novice cook
to the gourmet cook. You offer everything. Someone that doesn't cook can come in here and get dinner.
Absolutely. And we, like the buzz term is user-friendly.
User-friendly.
That's a big thing in our business. So user-friendly from the standpoint of the items that we cook.
Now you cook those in-house?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Recipes made here and everything, or?
Absolutely. We have Nancy, who's our deli manager here, and then Kate, who's the deli manager in Western Springs, have worked tirelessly on developing some of these things, and it's great. And there's some comfort food. We do these small little trays, we call them dinners for one, that will have a meat entree and a couple of side items. Those are a big hit.
Microwave or oven, either or?
Either or.
Really?
Yeah, the container goes both ways.
Yeah. You're going to give Stofers a run for their money.
Well, and it's all, and again, it's all comfort food, whether it's like a pot roast dinner.
Yeah, very comfort.
Yeah. Stuffed chicken breast or anything like that.
Oh, speaking of those stuffed chicken breasts, I've been coming here, like I said, I've been coming here forever, and some of the stuff they have, if you want to cook from scratch, you can do that. Go buy a piece of meat and start from scratch. Your stuffed chicken breasts, you put a nice stuffing in there, and those are awesome. You can go right to the grill with them. I love your bourbon marinated steak. Are they called infused, or what are they called?
No, they're just marinated.
Marinated.
Yeah, we have like
okay.
the popular one is a lime salsa, so you get that south of the border flavor to it.
Yeah, nice.
So we have a stainless steel drum that we put the meat and a marinade in there, usually with a little bit of water or crushed ice.
Really?
Yeah, and then you put the lid on, which is airtight, and then there's a vacuum that you hook up to the lid, and it'll take all the oxygen out of the drum. In that, while you're doing that, it also expands the pores of the meat, so it'll absorb the marinade. So it's great because then the marinade penetrates the meat. It's not just a surface marinade.
How long does that process take?
If we put a product in there to spin, because after it's been vacuumed, then we put it on it's like a little platform. And it'll slowly tumble the meat in there.
Really?
So, yeah, it gives it a chance to, it's almost like it massages it.
Wow.
It works out really well.
And we all like massages.
I like this show. About 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. Now for a big hunk of meat, or are they broken down already?
It's smaller pieces,
All right.
like we do pork tenderloins. We'll do butterfly chops, things like that.
Nice.
Chickens.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then from there, you go right to the grill or the oven, whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
With it.
You want to make it fast and easy.
Yeah.
Okay, our scallops of pork. You've seen us play with these before, Wiener Schnitzel, right? So this is our vessel. This is our holding vessel. Salt and pepper. These are going to cook fairly quick. All we got to worry about is getting that inside up to temp, 165 degrees. For pork, we'll get it up to that temperature and we'll be good to go. All right, we were talking about the grain on a piece of meat. Do you see how this is pounded up? Do you see those lines there? That's the grain of the meat. So when we put our stuffing, our mousse in here and roll it up this way, after that's cooked, you're going to cut this way, and you're cutting against the grain, which is going to make it a lot more tender, okay? So always when you're cutting meat, you're going against the grain. Never go with the grain when you're cutting a piece of meat, because it'll just make it tough. And that's just a standard rule, and it happens in every piece of meat, and it happens in every instance. So a good thing to know. So we're going to take our mousse, put it in every paupiette, roll it up, and we're going to set them out. I'm going to get my grunt out of the oven. So we've done that. That's been in there a half hour, 40 minutes. Okay, look at that. We're good with that. Tell me that with a little vanilla ice cream isn't going to sound good in a little while. We're going to keep our oven on 350, because that's what these are going to cook at. Okay? Potatoes. Rutabaga doing well. We're going to make these paupiètes, and then we're going to go on to our salad, and then it's almost time to eat. So we're doing this by eyeball. Take a hunk of meat. Find your grain. Roll it up. Look at that. That's a meal right there. Stuffing goes right to the edge. And we're going to put it seam side down on our tray, okay? So we're going to do that for all of these. I did these in Austria. Actually, it was April Fool's Day, and we actually had to make 120 servings. And our chef came over, and I said we had 100 all day, and he was freaking out. And I just said April Fool, and he didn't think it was very funny. So there you go. All right, 2 done. Here's our grain. Nice piece of mousse. Look how nice that holds together. It's like little mini meatloaves, little mini gorgonzola meatloaves. And actually, I cooked a little bit of this in a pan just to make sure and that's what you should do. When you make your mousse and you're done with it, take a little bit of it, put it in a frying pan, cook it up, and taste it, okay? That way you know that all your seasonings are there, that you have enough of this, that you have enough of that. Taste, taste, taste. That's what it's all about. These are looking really nice. Now right there, that's a meal, boy. That's gonna sit heavy on your plate, okay? We got quite a bit of mousse here too, so we might have to go out and get some more pork. We got a lot of flavor in there. We got a lot of flavor in that mousse, but we're gonna take it one step further. We're gonna coat this pork with a little Dijon mustard, and we're gonna roll it in a yellow cornmeal. So after that roasts, 40 minutes, 350 degrees, that Dijon is gonna stick to there, and that cornmeal is gonna make a nice crunch. I mean, it's gonna be another texture that we're adding along with all these flavors, and it's just, it's a celestial meal. Let me just put it that way. So, probably a stupid thing to even say, but of course, don't just stick your brush into your jar of Dijon mustard when you're gonna coat these, because you're gonna be going from raw meat from your brush to this bowl. So I'm just taking out what I'm going to be using for these papayettes. All right, so you got a nice scallop of meat there. We're going to coat it. A little Dijon, okay? Generous with it. Why not, right? Another layer of flavor. Cornmeal. Plain old yellow cornmeal, okay? Plain old yellow cornmeal. We take our papayette, roll it in the cornmeal. Okay? Back up. Cornmeal. Back up. Cornmeal. Done. One more right there. All right? These are going in the oven for, like I said, half hour to 40 minutes. Okay, we're going to put them in, and I'll talk to you in a bit.
We're winding down here with our interview with Dave. We want to talk about something else, competition. How do you stay viable with all these other places that are around? You know, your Costco's where they, you know.
You lose a little bit to Costco, but like some of the other players that have opened up in the area, and this is the one great thing about our fan base. It's not just limited to Villa Park. You know, Carroll Stream, Wooddale, Addison, Lombard, Elmhurst. I mean, we encompass a large area.
Yes, yes.
So when Pete's Fresh Market opened up, you know, we have a lot of people from like the Oak Brook Terrace area that shop here. So we saw our numbers kind of dip for a while. And
you did?
Yeah. And so anytime a new store opens up, you know, they always hit you with all the freebies. And you can't begrudge anybody for wanting to take advantage of that.
Absolutely right.
So, we kind of felt it for probably a good 6-month period, and then slowly, our customers came back.
Yeah.
And one of the things that a lot of these people would complain about is the service aspect. And
At the other places.
At the other places, yeah. And we saw that, the same thing with Mariano's when they opened up in Elmhurst. It's a beautiful store. And again, we cater to a lot of Elmhurst people. So, same type of thing. And I also understand the fact that just trying to get anywhere these days with traffic and all that, it's a real concentrated
issue.
effort.
It's an issue.
Yeah. But so now, again, we felt the same thing with Mariano's. And then slowly our customers came back.
Yeah.
And then Whole Foods. And, now we're just starting to hopefully get back to, where we were at before.
Yeah.
But, and again, the big thing is the service, and it's all about customer service with us.
Oh my gosh, and you do get that here. I mean, you're not walking into a strange place. They know you by name. I mean, it's the service is friendly. You get advice on anything you want. You buy a piece of meat you haven't worked with before. You guys will tell us how to cook it.
Absolutely.
And professionalism is paramount, and you guys do that very well.
And in spite of myself, I mean, we've got, it's all about the great staff, and I'm very fortunate. And
how many guys here?
Total employees right now, I believe we have 28.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But, the full-time crew is, everybody has been with working with me for a long time.
Long time, right. Absolutely right.
So we just have them drink the Kool-Aid and all as well.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Dave, you have been a plethora of information.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we enjoyed it very much.
Well, our salad, it's a really complex, composed salad, if you will, okay? That means we're composing it. These are called, this was a plain old Roma tomato. I sliced them and I roasted them for 3 hours. Olive oil, salt, pepper. I put some thyme sprigs on top. After 3 hours, they come out just like that. I mean, that has so concentrated a tomato flavor, you can't even believe it. Look at those. I mean, tomato petals, they call them. What we're going to do is chop these real fine, okay? When you roast them for 3 hours, you're condensing every little flavor in there. And you don't want to roast them so much that they're dry. You still want to have a little moisture to them, okay? So you can see that I've still got some moisture in between here, in between the knife marks, so that's good. We're going to take that, put it in our bowl. Chives, shallots, okay? In there. Little hit balsamic vinegar, little bit. Just a little bit. Kosher salt. Cracked black pepper. Okay. I'm going to mix that up. This is going to be our base for our salad. I'm going to put this in a little ring mold. We're going to put that on a plate. We're going to fill this ring mold with the tomato and make a crouton. On that, we're going to put, I blanched some haricot vert, some green beans. Blanched them 4 minutes, dried them out. We're going to put them in a sherry cream. And we're going to put those beans in that cream. We're going to put them on top of the crouton, and then we're going to finish it with a little frisee lettuce with some olive oil. So we're going to make sure that that's all mixed through. Get a little taste. Wow. Had that in the freezer for about half hour. Put in some heavy cream. Okay. I'm going to do this by hand. We're not thickening it to whipped cream. We just want it to thicken a little bit so it coats the bean. All right. we've got our heavy cream whipped up, okay? It's a little thick. To that, a teaspoon and a half of sherry. Teaspoon red wine vinegar. Kosher salt. Fresh cracked black pepper. Big fan. Crushed black pepper, okay? We're gonna take our blanched green beans, add them to the mix. Okay, look at that. So, let's see. You get the sherry. You really get the sherry. That's really nice. So we're gonna put these in the fridge and let them chill. When we come back, we're gonna compose ourselves like Ludwig van Beethoven. We're gonna compose. So we'll see you in a couple seconds.
We have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
The world of tomorrow is cooking with gas. Right, Jinx Falkenberg?
Naturally, just as nearly all of America's fine restaurants do, 99% of the restaurants at the New York World's Fair use gas for cooking. Whether you're dining here at the top of the fair, eating a marvelous Italian dinner, a delicious smorgasbord, an exotic Indian curry, great French cuisine, or delicious regional dishes here at Festival 65, the American restaurant in the Gas Pavilion, all the cooking is by gas. Why not have in your own kitchen the same fast, cool, clean, controlled gas cooking that fine chefs insist on? Live modern for less with gas.
All right, we got our tomato confit. If you want to call it a tomato confit. It's going to be our base. A little bit goes a long way because, like I told you, that tomato flavor is very concentrated. Okay? So, there we go. It's our base. Making a mess all over the place. That's nice. Okay. Fill it up again. All the way to the sides. Push out from the middle. We're only getting about a 1/4 inch in there. Like I said, this is 10 tomatoes worth of tomatoes. What it boils down to. And look at what you got left out of it. Not much, right? After we get these croutons laid out, we can actually chill these plates. The last thing we have to do is put those green beans that we have in the sherry cream. Those are going to go right on top of here, okay? All right, we've taken our sauce down with the vegetables. We got all the out of our mirror pot. We've gotten all the flavor out of those vegetables. So we tossed them. All we have left is our broth, and now we're going to thicken our broth with a little port wine and a little cornstarch, and then we're going to finish it with a little currant jelly. So remember our thing about adding cornstarch to a cool liquid. Never add cornstarch to a hot liquid, right? So we're just gonna, and I could add this to water. I could add this cornstarch to cold water and it would do the same thing, but seeing as it's a port wine sauce, why don't I add it to port wine and enhance the flavor a little bit. So we get our sauce up to a boil. And we're gonna add our port wine cornstarch mixture. As soon as it comes to a boil, it's gonna thicken up. And then we're gonna finish it with the currant jelly. And that's gonna be good to go. Currant jelly, we talked about that berry earlier. The red currants, right? You can get black or white, we're using the red. We're just gonna take a little of that. add it to our sauce. And that's going to melt down. And what are we doing? We're adding just another layer of flavor to our sauce. Okay, so we're going to let that go for just a few minutes, and we'll come back and we'll compose our salads, okay? We'll see you in a second. Okay, we've got our tomato croutons on our plates, and we put our green beans in our sherry cream, salt and pepper, red wine vinegar. We put them back to set up a little bit. All right. Per French Laundry recipe, we stack green beans on top of our crouton. Okay. We've got a lot of flavor going on in all aspects of this dish. Curly endive, chicory, frisee, all from the same family. We're going to take a little chunk of that, twist it in the palm of our hand, okay? And that's going to top our salad. Do the same thing to all four. Don't need a lot. Just making a statement there. Green apple white balsamic, we're going to go on one side, okay? Just a little dribble. All right? We be uniform. Do the same on every plate in the same spot, okay? All right. The other one, the other side, I got a little balsamic reduction. Old school? Yeah, maybe. But another element of flavor. Okay? Just a touch. You just dip a little bit of your frisee in there. All right. Now we're going to take a little olive oil on top of that frisee. Boom. Just a little bit. A little drizzle. Fresh cracked black pepper on there. Now, got some Himalaya pink sea salt. We'll go right on top of the frisee, okay? That's done. Tell me that doesn't look nice. I've taken our potatoes and our rutabagas, and I've made the traditional Scottish clap shot. I've added a stick of butter and half a cup of cream, salt and pepper, and that's our go-to. We've made the best meal we've ever made so far on Tom's Table. Like I said, we've got good friends, the Flanagans, here to enjoy a meal with us. They're foodies, so I'm a little nervous about introducing all this stuff to them. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we'll see you in the other room at Tom's Table. Thanks. Okay, we are at about an hour and a half of a cooking frenzy. Our friends Bonnie, Steve Flanagan are joining us this evening, and as I told you earlier, they're foodies. You go out to eat a lot, you know about food. We've been out to, diners, drive-ins, and dives. We've actually gone to a restaurant or two that's been out of that book and had great success there. So,
yeah.
You cook a lot.
I love cooking too. Not as gourmet as you do, but I just love cooking, and I have fun cooking with people. So we've cooked together before.
Yes.
A famous fondue night, I remember.
We did a fondue one night with, we had 6 or 7 sauces and chicken and shrimp and filet, and it was to send our old pastor off. Actually, we worship together. We are church buddies, and how long have we been going to church together? 10 years or more?
At least or
10.
more, yeah.
Yeah. And that's how our ties are. And I just figured when we were having the foodies over, I figure I had to kick it up a notch. And this is actually a dish out of, like I said before, out of Thomas Keller's French Laundry Cookbook. His restaurant in San Francisco, one of the hottest restaurants around. One of his proteges, Grant Achatz, heard of him?
No.
I have not.
Actually, he sent a letter to Thomas Keller every day for a year asking for a job at the French Laundry. And that's where he tenured at the French Laundry. And now Grant Achatz has a restaurant in Chicago called Alinea. What I have here is a tomato tartare. And we've made a crouton out of it by putting a ring mold and laying our tomatoes on. Like I said, our tomatoes have been roasted for 3 hours. I roasted these tomatoes for 3 hours last night, the little petals. So the tomato flavor is very concentrated, and we've got a sherry green bean sauce that goes on top of them, and we've topped it with a little frisee lettuce, olive oil, salt, and pepper. So, begin.
So, Tom, should I try and have a little of everything in one bite?
I think you should. And I've got balsamic vinegar on one side, a regular balsamic, and a green apple balsamic on the other side. Sometimes food is about volume, and sometimes food is about taste. I can relate to both. We both cooked in volume, and we've both cooked, that intimate meal for 3 or 4, 2 or 3 couples that just speak to you. So that's what tonight is. That little intimate meal that is made with great love.
Oh, this is delicious, Tom.
And the white layer is so creamy and smooth.
And you catch the sherry in there, don't you? You do. In the cream.
No, I get the best part of this chef thing because I get to eat it all.
I mean, so yeah, like I said, I made this dish. You can see how I made it for 120 people. How many tomatoes we had tomatoes coming out of our ears because with just these 3 croutons, that was like a dozen tomatoes
to cook down.
Really,
if
that
it
just
roasts
cooked down
for
enough.
that long.
You start in a sheet pan like that, and I'm finishing in a piece like that, and they just keep going down and going down, and
yeah, everything just goes so well together.
All right, on to course 2. We've got our pork papayette filled with actually a pork and gorgonzola mousse. And then we've got our rutabagas and mashed potatoes together. Call it a ruta mousse if you want. With a lot of mousses in this dinner. And we're finishing it with a port wine sauce. That's going to complement the gorgonzola very well. So, let's do it, guys.
All right.
Let's do it.
I don't even know what to start with.
Phase 2, step 2. We succeeded with step 1, so.
Well, that's very good with the potatoes.
And the sauce tastes fabulous with it.
See, you're not one to like rutabagas, Lou, but we're liking them right now. You're going to like them with the potatoes, let's put it that way.
I'm not a big rutabaga guy myself, but it's very good with the potatoes.
It doesn't turn you off at all, right?
No, and now, Tom, what are these called again?
Pork papayettes. A papayette is a scallop of meat.
Okay.
It could be a slice of beef, it could be a slice of pork. I just took a pork chop, a $1 pork chop, and pounded it out.
Really?
So we got $3 worth of pork with these 3 meals here. And then, of course, the ground pork, and you saw us make our mousse with the heavy cream and the gorgonzola cheese, and our pork chop is just our traveling vessel for this.
It is all about the mousse. That mousse is phenomenal.
Is that not just loaded with flavor? It is loaded with flavor.
Oh, that's
really is.
delicious. Well, the port wine sauce just has a little bit of sweetness to it.
And that contrasts the kind of the salt and peppery taste in the pork. Really,
And here
really
we're
brings
just,
it together.
yeah, it's meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes at its best.
Sure
it is
is.
meat and potatoes elevated to like.
Okay, well, our evening is almost complete. We've got to finish up with I made a triple berry crisp. We've got blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries, and baked with you saw the oats and the brown sugar, and very easy. I call it, they call it a crisp, they call it a grunt, they call it a crumble, whatever, you know. I called it the grunt because I grunt every time I get up out of my chair. So we're going to give this a shot and see if we succeeded here. Still warm.
Mmm. It's
Very
delicious.
It's like a milkshake in a bowl.
Sure is. A smoothie.
The berries taste great.
They do. I was a little mad at the way it turned out because the berries broke down so much that they almost covered all the crust. But flavor, right? I mean, flavor is right on. Yeah?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, success?
Oh,
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
Did we please the foodies?
Yeah.
Well done.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. We pleased some foodies. And you know what? When we started out, I was a little nervous about this. As complex of a meal this sounded, it wasn't that hard to make. And I mean, right? I mean, you were with us from step one, and it really went pretty easy. So, I'm kind of at a loss for words. Anything to add?
It was beautiful to look at. It was something that I could make at home.
Yes.
It was with a inexpensive cut of meat. It was
Totally.
beautiful.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
And a win-win for me because I get to eat it. Maybe twice now.
And you liked it.
It was very good.
All right.
Very good.
What a great day at Mike's Market, huh?
Oh my gosh, we got information. We got a full tour of the place. It was awesome. Dave was a very gracious host, and I think our food was elevated because of this place.
It was excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard to top this one. Yeah.
Better start working on it now.
We'll do it now. We'll see you next time on Tom's Table. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.